The instant Alex Eala stepped onto the clay court at the Porsche Arena, she sensed this encounter would stand apart. Not merely because she was up against Leylah Fernandez, a fellow Filipina, a former US Open finalist, a competitor who had ascended as high as world number 13, and not only because thousands of Filipino supporters had journeyed from various parts of Europe to fill the stands, but because this represented her opportunity to demonstrate something to herself, to the entire world, and to all those who had questioned whether she deserved to be on this level. And when the concluding point settled, when the scoreboard displayed the unexpected outcome, the entire venue exploded with noise. The roar from Eala's supporters vibrated through the walls of the Porsche Arena. Philippine flags fluttered joyfully everywhere. And Alex Eala, the 20-year-old talent from Manila, had just etched her name into history. This remains the instant her admirers will cherish forever.
Alex, thank you, Alex.
The Porsche Tennis Grand Prix draw had presented something truly remarkable. Alex Eala, positioned at world number 46, was set to confront Leylah Fernandez, the 23-year-old Canadian player of Filipino descent, ranked world number 25 in the opening round. It marked their very first singles matchup on the professional tour, a showdown between two left-handed Filipinas, each carrying plenty to establish. For Fernandez, this served as a platform to reassert to the tennis community the reasons behind her 2021 US Open final appearance, her climb to world number 13, and her collection of 5 WTA titles. For Eala, this provided a platform to demonstrate that her swift ascent from world number 140 to number 29 within a single year was genuine and not accidental. To establish that she truly deserved to compete on the grandest stages opposite the finest athletes globally. The pressure could not have been greater. The victor would then meet 5th seed, Jasmine Paolini, the world number 8, in the subsequent round. Yet aside from the draw structure, beyond the ranking positions, this contest centered on national pride. Two athletes, both proudly representing Filipino roots, both left-handed, both driven by the desire for triumph. The global tennis audience was paying close attention, and the supporters had already declared their allegiance. Away from the court, only friendliness exists between them. Fernandez has portrayed Eala as bold and courageous, while highlighting that the young Filipina competes with grace and passion. She has labeled Eala extremely warm-hearted, calling her both modest and resolute. Whenever their paths meet, they consistently share warm greetings, recognizing the special connection they share as two of the limited Filipino representatives on the professional circuit. However, on the playing surface, no such friendliness appears. This is pure competition. Both athletes are eager for a victory to launch their clay court season effectively. Fernandez embraces her Filipino background with great pride. Her mother comes from the Philippines, and her maternal grandparents originate from Leyte and Ilocos Norte. She has voiced her profound gratitude for the backing she receives from Filipino enthusiasts around the globe. "I am extremely honored that they follow me, that they cheer for me," Fernandez has stated. She has shared her aspiration to visit the Philippines someday, to immerse herself more fully in its vibrant culture. But on Tuesday, as she enters the clay at the Porsche Arena, the Filipino supporters will not be rooting for her. They will be enthusiastically backing Alex Eala, and Fernandez, despite all her skill, will assume the position of the visiting favorite. The statistics present a fascinating picture. Fernandez has experienced a difficult 2026 season, securing only 4 victories out of her 13 matches and failing to progress beyond the third round in any of her initial 9 events. She advanced to the round of 16 at the Charleston Open 2 weeks earlier, but lost to Diana Schneider in straight sets. Eala, conversely, has claimed 14 wins from her 22 matches this season, preserving one of the highest success rates among those ranked inside the top 50. She arrives fresh from a round of 16 appearance at the Lindt Open, where she achieved her first professional clay court victory against the local favorite Julia Grabher. On paper, Fernandez appears as the favorite. She possesses greater experience, more titles, and a superior ranking. But Eala carries strong momentum and holds an advantage Fernandez lacks. Thousands of supporters inside the venue waving Philippine flags and chanting her name. The Porsche Arena will be completely packed. The atmosphere will crackle with energy, and when the two left-handers step onto the court, their friendship will be temporarily set aside. Only one will move forward. Only one will seize the win in this battle of Filipino pride. The setting is prepared. History awaits to be created. The Porsche Arena buzzed with excitement. Long before the opening serve, thousands of Filipino fans had already occupied the seats, their flags waving proudly, their voices rising in chants of Laban Alex that reverberated throughout the German venue. They had come from Frankfurt, from Munich, and from different corners of Europe. Some had traveled all the way from the Philippines itself to witness a historic occasion, and they left fully satisfied. When Alex Eala and Leylah Fernandez entered the clay court, the sound was overwhelming. Two left-handed Filipinas, each carrying the dreams of millions, positioned themselves on opposite sides of the net. The atmosphere felt thick with tension. The importance of the match was obvious. The initial games turned into a test of mental strength. Both competitors held their serve through the first 4 games, neither ready to surrender any ground. Fernandez, drawing on her experience and better ranking, attempted to control the pace. She employed her strong left-handed forehand to force Eala deeper behind the baseline, aiming to direct the rallies and induce mistakes. But Eala remained rock solid. Her defensive skills, sharpened through years of training at the Rafa Nadal Academy, proved unbreakable. Every shot returned successfully. Every exchange appeared endless. Fernandez, clearly irritated, started committing more unforced errors. At 3-3, Eala grabbed her chance. She broke Fernandez's serve using a backhand winner down the line that caught the Canadian player off balance. The audience exploded in cheers. The noise intensified. The momentum had clearly changed direction. Eala comfortably held her own serve in the following game, then broke Fernandez once more to capture the first set 6-3. The whole stadium trembled with excitement. Philippine flags waved across every section. The chants for Eala grew so powerful that players on nearby courts stopped to glance over. Fernandez refused to surrender without resistance. The Canadian star, who had reached a Grand Slam final at the young age of 19, fought back fiercely. She elevated her performance in the second set, her shots landing closer to the lines with improved accuracy. She broke Eala's serve early and built a 3-1 lead. The momentum appeared to swing again. The crowd, which had remained firmly behind the Filipina, held its breath anxiously. Eala now faced her first genuine challenge of the match. The pressure that often affects young players on this same court might have unsettled her. Instead, she displayed remarkable maturity beyond her age. She broke back during the 5th game. Her flat ground strokes created angles that looked almost unreachable on the slower clay surface. The spectators roared back to life. The chanting resumed loudly. Eala held her serve to even the set at 3-3. The next 3 games became a fierce test of endurance. Both players held serve successfully. Each game turned into a contest of determination. At 5-5, with the set on the line, Eala rose to the occasion. She aggressively targeted Fernandez's second serve, took control early in the rallies, and created 2 break points. On the first, Fernandez saved it with a strong ace. On the second, Eala unleashed a powerful forehand return that brushed the baseline, forcing the Canadian star to scramble desperately. Break achieved. Eala now led 6-5. Serving to close out the match, Eala exhibited the calm confidence of an experienced player. Her first serve landed accurately. Her ground stroke stayed sharp and clean. At 40-30, match point arrived. She executed a backhand down the line that Fernandez could only watch as it flew past. The final score read 6-3, 7-5 after 1 hour and 48 minutes of intense, high-quality tennis. Eala dropped her racket, covered her face with both hands, and gazed upward. The stadium erupted once more. The cheers for Eala echoed against the walls of the Porsche Arena. Thousands of Filipino fans, many with tears in their eyes, waved their flags in pure celebration. Strangers hugged each other warmly. Songs filled the air. History had been created. The statistics from the match highlight Eala's impressive efficiency. She converted 4 out of her 10 breakpoint chances while successfully saving 5 of the 7 breakpoints she faced. Her first serve percentage stayed near 65%, and she won 68% of those points. On her second serve, she performed even better, winning 55% and effectively countering Fernandez's aggressive returns. She ended with 18 winners against 21 unforced errors, a respectable balance considering the speed and pressure involved. Fernandez, in comparison, struggled to maintain consistency. She recorded 28 unforced errors, many occurring at decisive moments. Her first serve percentage fell below 60%, and she won only 45% of her second serve points. The Canadian star, who had defeated several top names in tennis, simply could not find solutions against Eala's persistent defense and well-timed attacks. The triumph represented Eala's first victory over a top 3-0 player on clay and her fourth career win against a top 3-0 opponent overall. It also marked the first occasion she had progressed beyond the opening round of a WTA 500 clay court event. As Eala made her way off the court, she paused near the entrance of the tunnel, turned toward the crowd, raised her hand, waved to the thousands of fans who had journeyed across Europe to watch her, and silently mouthed the words, "Thank you." The crowd responded with a massive roar. They had arrived to witness history, and Alex Eala had delivered it beautifully. The moment the final point landed, the Porsche Arena underwent a complete transformation. The thousands of Filipino fans who had filled the stands did far more than simply applaud. They did far more than cheer. They exploded with emotion. The roar supporting Alex Eala that had grown steadily throughout the match reached an ear-splitting peak. Philippine flags waved vibrantly in every corner. Strangers hugged one another. Tears streamed without restraint. Eala stood at the heart of everything. Her hand placed over her heart, her eyes sweeping across the ocean of red, white, and blue. She had imagined this moment for so long. She had trained relentlessly for this moment. And now it had become reality. As she approached the net to shake hands with Fernandez, the two Filipinas shared a warm embrace. There were no bitter words, no cold glances, only deep mutual respect between two fighters who had given their absolute best on the court. Fernandez whispered something into Eala's ear, and Eala nodded, her eyes shining with emotion. Then came the on-court interview. The interviewer asked Eala how she felt following the most significant clay court victory of her career. "I don't have words," Eala replied, her voice shaking with feeling. "The support today was unbelievable. Every time I looked up, I saw our flag. Every time I needed motivation, I heard your voices. This win belongs to all of you." The crowd roared loudly. The cheering continued. Eala paused briefly, brushing tears from her face. "Leylah is an incredible player. She has reached a Grand Slam final. She has defeated the very best. I have enormous respect for her. Today, I simply tried to concentrate on my own game, stay aggressive, and trust in myself. And it paid off." She expressed gratitude to her team, her family, and the Filipino community that had traveled from all across Europe to back her. "You guys are the reason I continue fighting," she said. "Maraming salamat po." The crowd answered with a thunderous ovation. For a brief time, the Porsche Arena no longer felt like it was in Germany. It felt exactly like Manila. As Eala left the court, fans stretched out to touch her hand, to snap photos, and to tell her how proud they felt. She stopped at the tunnel entrance, turned once more to the crowd, and raised her hand in one last wave. The fans roared again. They had come to witness history, and Alex Eala had delivered it. The celebration carried on well after she vanished into the locker room. Fans remained in their seats, singing songs, waving flags, and replaying the key moments of the match. Some gathered outside the Porsche Arena, their voices still echoing with chants of Laban Alex. The city of Stuttgart, which had been turned into a vibrant festival of Filipino pride, would remember this night for a long time. Later, Eala shared her feelings on social media. Still processing what happened today, she posted on Instagram alongside a picture of herself celebrating on court. "This one means so much to everyone who came out to support. Thank you. You made me believe I could do anything. Laban Lang."
Gotta feel that Sabalenka probably is feeling that as well, thinking that she's the favorite to win.
The victory against Leylah Fernandez represented far more than a simple first-round success. It stood as a pivotal moment in Alex Eala's career, a moment that will be recalled as the day she proved she belonged among the top players. The ranking consequences were significant. Eala entered the Stuttgart Open ranked world number 46. This marked a decline from her career-high ranking of number 29 after the Miami Open. The 390 points she had earned from her impressive 2025 semifinal run had now expired, and she had gained only 120 points from her fourth-round finish. The calculations felt harsh, but Eala's showing in Stuttgart has altered the situation. A first-round win over a top 3-0 player adds important points to her total. A second-round victory over Jasmine Paolini, the world number 8, would contribute even more. A strong performance in Stuttgart could lift her back close to the top 40. A semifinal appearance would bring her near the top 35. Winning the title would propel her to a brand-new career-high ranking. But as Eala has realized, rankings are not the sole indicator of achievement. The clay court season lying ahead. The win over Fernandez marks only the start of Eala's clay court journey. Following Stuttgart, she will participate in the Mutua Madrid Open from April 21 to May 3, a WTA 1000 tournament where she has already earned direct entry into the main draw. With a 9-6 player draw and Eala ranked number 46, she automatically secured a spot in the main draw. Whether she receives seeding will depend on whether she enters the top 32 inches, the rankings before the seeding deadline on April 20. Eala is also anticipated to compete in the Italian Open from May 6 to 18, another WTA 1000 event, and the Parma Ladies Open from May 12 to 18, a WTA 125 tournament. She will then conclude her early spring clay season at the French Open, Roland Garros, from May 24 to June 7. It was at Roland Garros that she had suffered a first-round exit the previous year. She is determined to advance further this time. The Paolini Challenge. Next for Eala stands Jasmine Paolini, the 5th seed and world number 8. The Italian has displayed outstanding form on clay, reaching the quarterfinals of the Charleston Open and the semifinals of the Billie Jean King Cup qualifiers. She poses a tough opponent recognized for her powerful ground strokes and attacking baseline style, but Eala has competed against elite opposition previously. She has defeated Iga Swiatek, the world number 2, at the 2025 Miami Open. She has pushed Coco Gauff to her limits. She has taken sets from Arena Sabalenka during practice sessions at the Rafa Nadal Academy. The task is challenging but certainly not beyond reach. The match is scheduled for Thursday, with the winner progressing to the quarterfinals. The Porsche Arena will once again be filled with Filipino fans, their flags waving proudly, their voices rising in strong support, and Eala, coming fresh from the biggest clay court win of her career, will be fully prepared. The Czech curse and additional obstacles. Eala's record against Czech players stands at 0-13, a statistic that has followed her throughout her career. She has lost to Karolina Muchova, Linda Noskova, Barbara Krejcikova, and several others. The Czech tennis system has generated some of the most technically skilled players worldwide, and Eala has found it difficult to solve their game. But clay presents fresh possibilities. The slower surface rewards patience, smart tactics, and the skill to build points, qualities that Eala possesses in plenty. If she can overcome the Czech curse on clay, it would represent a major achievement. The Eala effect continues. No matter what occurs in Stuttgart, one fact remains undeniable. The Eala effect has arrived and will endure. The thousands of fans who traveled from different parts of Europe to support her serve as clear evidence that her influence reaches well beyond the tennis court. She is not merely a player, she is a movement. The victory over Fernandez has only reinforced that movement. Filipino fans worldwide celebrated the win, sharing video clips, photographs, and messages full of pride. The hashtag Eala made history trended for hours. News organizations in the Philippines featured front-page articles. The nation that had waited for generations for a tennis star had finally discovered one. Eala, for her part, stays humble and grounded. I am still the same person I was before all of this. I simply love playing tennis. I love representing the Philippines. Everything else is an added bonus, but that bonus carries real value. The prize money from Stuttgart will support her training and travel expenses. The ranking points will assist her climb back toward the top 40. And the confidence gained from this victory will sustain her through the remainder of the clay season. The path to Roland Garros is long, but after her performance in Stuttgart, nothing appears out of reach. The moment Alex Eala's victory over Leylah Fernandez was confirmed, the tennis community erupted with excitement. Social media filled with congratulatory messages, highlight videos, and proud expressions from supporters across the world. The hashtag Eala made history trended for hours, with millions of posts celebrating the Filipina's historic accomplishment. Fellow players quickly offered praise for Eala's display. Coco Gauff, who has faced Eala twice and shared a warm hug with her after their Indian Wells match, wrote on social media, "Huge win for Alex, so proud of you. Keep going." Jessica Pegula, who stopped Eala's impressive 2025 Miami Open run in the semifinals, added, "What a performance, she's special. Congrats at Alex, Eala." Even Rafael Nadal, who trained Eala at his academy for 7 years, reportedly contacted her to offer congratulations. The two-time Grand Slam champion has remained one of Eala's strongest supporters throughout her career. And this victory, her biggest on clay, would have held special meaning for him. In the Philippines, the celebration felt even more passionate. News outlets published front-page stories with headlines such as "Eala stuns Fernandez in Stuttgart" and "History on clay." The Philippine Sports Commission released an official statement congratulating Eala on her landmark achievement. Fans gathered at the Rizal Memorial Tennis Center in Manila, waving flags and watching match replays on their phones. For the Filipino community living in Europe, the victory carried deep personal significance. Thousands had traveled to Stuttgart to back Eala, transforming the Porsche Arena into a vibrant sea of Philippine flags. Their chants of "Laban Alex" had helped carry her through the difficult moments. Their faith in her had never faltered. Eala's post-match interview perfectly captured the emotion of the occasion. "The support today was incredible," she said, her voice full of feeling. "Every time I looked up, I saw our flag. Every time I needed a push, I heard your voices. This win is for all of you." She paused, wiping tears from her cheeks. "I've been working so hard for this. There have been tough losses, tough moments, but days like today make it all worthwhile. Salamat po, I love you all." The crowd roared in response. For a moment, the Porsche Arena no longer felt like Germany. It felt like Manila. Now Eala faces her next test, Jasmine Paolini, the 5th seed and world number 8, in the second round. The Italian has shown excellent form on clay, reaching the quarterfinals of the Charleston Open and the semifinals of the Billie Jean King Cup qualifiers. She remains a dangerous rival known for her powerful ground strokes and aggressive baseline play. But Eala has defeated top players before. She has beaten Iga Swiatek, the world number 2, at the 2025 Miami Open. She has pushed Coco Gauff to the limit. She has taken sets from Aryna Sabalenka during practice at the Rafa Nadal Academy. The challenge is tough, but not impossible. The match is set for Thursday, with the winner advancing to the quarterfinals. The Porsche Arena will once again be packed with Filipino fans, their flags waving, their voices raised in support, and Eala, energized by the biggest clay court victory of her career, will be ready. Regardless of what happens next, Alex Eala has already created history. She has shown that she belongs on the biggest stages. She has proven that her quick rise from world number 140 to number 29 inches just 1 year was no accident. And she has reminded the tennis world that the Eala effect is not only about the fans, it is about the champion they have come to cheer for. The clay season lies ahead of her: Stuttgart, Madrid, Rome, and finally Roland Garros. The tests will only become tougher, the competition will only grow fiercer, but after what she achieved in Stuttgart, one thing is certain: Alex Eala is no longer simply a promising talent. She is a serious contender, and her fans will stand with her at every step. Alex Eala walked onto the clay at the Porsche Arena as the underdog. She walked off as a history maker. The 20-year-old Filipina had defeated Leylah Fernandez, the world number 25 and former US Open finalist, in their first ever singles meeting on tour. The stadium, filled with thousands of Filipino fans, burst into celebration. The cheers for Eala shook the walls and an entire nation watched in amazement. This was more than a win. It was a powerful statement. It was proof that Eala belongs among the best. It was confirmation that her rapid rise from number 140 to number 29 inches just 1 year was no fluke. Now she moves forward to the second round, where she will face 5th seed Jasmine Paolini, the world number 8. The challenge is significant, but after what she accomplished in Stuttgart, nothing feels impossible. The Eala effect is real, it is powerful, and it is only beginning. What are your thoughts on Eala's historic victory over Fernandez? Do you believe she can defeat Paolini in the next round? Share your opinions in the comments below. Subscribe to Court Legacy for daily WTA news, detailed match analysis, and stories that go deeper than the final score. Because at Court Legacy, every day is match day.